Fantastic. Alright, so let me just get rid of some pages we don't need so that there is no echo. Welcome everyone. We are just taking care of a few last housekeeping issues. Okay.
All right, welcome, Kim.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Check with my... All right, so it's 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern, my time, so we can start.
All right, yay.
Everything seems to be fine on my end, so hopefully it stays this way. With technology, you never know. Okay, thank you so very much, Portia, for having me today. So I'm delighted to be here.
Yes, well, thank you for being here, Natasha. As you know, as part of the Working Motherhood, we're all about productivity and increasing our effectiveness, and just any tool that we can use to do that, we are all about it. And I know you are the expert for creating systems in Evernote and Asana, and so I'm delighted to have you on this webinar today to teach us all about Evernote.
Thank you once again for having me. And you're right. It's all about us having enough time for everything that we need to do as business owners, as mothers, and there are so many other roles that we are playing. So yes, I'm very excited to share some of my tricks, and especially how we can use this tool Evernote that we all love and use a lot. So it's great to be here.
Yes. So let's hop in, because I know it's going to be very, I know it's kind of intimidating to some people, so I know you're going to make it very simple for us. Let's just go ahead and hop in here.
Absolutely. Great. So the way we're going to structure our call today is that first I'm going to tell you very, very briefly about myself. Then I'm going to share 3 ways Evernote can boost your productivity. And lastly, I'm going to tell you how you can make the entire year that we're starting now your most productive year ever. And just like you said, Portia, so let me just make sure that I'm the one who is, so we don't get the image switched in case there is noise, but okay. So a little bit about myself. I started my business, which is called Systems Rock, 3 years ago, and I had a very small baby. My son was 9 months old at the time, and I wanted to spend more time with him, and that was one of the primary reasons I wanted to have a business where I work from home. But it was very, very challenging in the beginning because it was the very first business I had. It was the very first online business I had. So I had to learn lots of things just in how I needed to run the business, what I needed to do, but then also all these different tools that I could use and should use. So I've been playing with different tools and different techniques a lot, and what I learned over time is that, first of all, I get the most done when I rely on structures, on systems that I created, and something that my peers can easily follow when they are shown how they can create something similar for themselves. And the second thing is that we really have to have this one business hub, a place where all this information about what we need to do, how it needs to be done, what are our expectations if somebody else will be helping us, like all that information needs to be in one place. And I've searched and I've looked and I've experimented with lots of tools, and yes, the couple of tools with are Evernote and Asana, and I believe that they are really great tools for small online business owners because they're free in case of Asana, Evernote, there is very, very powerful free version, but then you can upgrade, and it's not that expensive either. And they can easily serve as that business management hub. And basically, they have all these features that I mentioned before in terms of allowing us to add information and add information in different formats, allow us to collaborate with others. But most importantly, it's a tool that will grow with our business. So as things get more complex and we add more structures or more people to our team, these two tools can really accommodate us, whether we are just starting out or we have some people who are helping us with our business. So today I am going to concentrate more on Evernote. And one thing that I wanted to note before I share my screen, because I'm going to show a number of things in my Evernote, but don't get alarmed if your Evernote looks slightly different, because Mac versus Windows version, desktop versus online, they do look slightly different. So functionality is the same. So look for the features, but how it looks might be slightly different, and it's perfectly fine. So let me share with you.
So Natasha, what version are you using today, just so we know what we are looking at?
Absolutely, yes. I'm on Mac, and I use desktop version.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yes, and Portia, absolutely, feel free to interrupt me whenever you feel. Also, something that I also should mention, that under the video there is comments area. So if you have a question or want to clarify something, feel free to pop in your comment below. Portia, if you want to just keep an eye on that section, and I have another screen to look at it as well. But for the most part, we'll address questions at the end. All right.
Okay.
Let's
get to it.
Let's do it.
And welcome to everyone on the call, on the webinar: Kim and Catherine, Janet, Heidi, Elena, Christina, Brian. Thank you all for joining us today.
And everyone, if you could. Oh, that's me talking. Okay. Give me 1 second. I just need to make sure that my Evernote. Yep. Okay. 1 second. For some reason, it's giving me a bit of a.
And so while we're waiting for that to be set up, just want to once again welcome everyone to the webinar. My name is Dr. Portia Jackson. I'm the host of the Working Motherhood podcast. And we are all set to kind of jump into Evernote and to give you all some more amazing tools. And forgot to turn on my camera. There I am. Just to give you some more tools to use for your business, for your life, and just to make things more accessible and easy for you as a business owner or a working mom or just a busy person. So, Natasha, are we all set? And there's going to be a slight delay, too, because Natasha is our all the way over in Europe helping us out here today. So if there's a slight delay, you know, that's technology, so we'll get over it. But we're going to hop right into all the information today. So let's get started.
Absolutely, let's do it. So as I mentioned, my goal today is you walk away with these new techniques and actions, how Evernote can help you get clear on what you're working on today, tomorrow, in the future, and ultimately boost your productivity. So the very first thing that I want to show you how Evernote can help you with is our inbox, and it's something that every one of us have to be dealing with on a daily basis, because that's primary means of communication these days. And for a lot of us, our relationship with our inbox is love-hate, just because it's such a lifeline. But at the same time, sometimes we get bombarded with so many emails, it's hard to keep track of them. So what I would like to stress to begin with is that when you let your inbox dictate what you're working on. All right, here we go. You end up putting other things and possibly important things on the back burner. And you do that so that you could immediately handle other people's requests. And yes, some of those emails do need your attention, but if you don't set boundaries, these requests will keep driving your days, and you will not be in charge of your time. So what can help to remedy this situation? If you create for yourself an inbox processing routine, and the one I use is quite simple. And actually, something that I have to confess is that I am one of the people who checks my emails every morning, first thing in the morning actually. And I don't think there is anything wrong with that, as long as you have this routine that you go through that will prevent you from getting stuck in your inbox, and it will not affect your entire day. So these are 3 simple things I do. I open my inbox, I quickly scan unread messages, and delete apparent spam or something that I know that I will not even open. I know that it's not something that deserves my attention. And I have to mention that my social media notifications go into another folder, so I don't need to review them at that point. All I look at are emails that came from my peers, from my clients, any new requests. So those are the key emails that I review first thing in the morning. And then I open one message at a time and see what I need to do in order to process it. And by processing,
Natasha?
yeah.
I'm sorry, quick question. We're not seeing your screen.
Oh, you should have told me earlier. This is
I was just making sure that it was just me, but I'm seeing in the group chat here that everyone can't see.
Thank you for letting me know. Okay. Let me see what is happening. Okay. Okay, let me. Hi, Heidi. Great to have you on the call.
Hi.
All right. So let me quickly. This will look very, very weird for a second, but I promise it will go away.
Okay, so while we're waiting for that, why doesn't everybody maybe type in one thing that you want to learn from the webinar today? And let's see if we're going to touch on that. So I'll start first.
Yeah, can you hear, can you see my screen now? Can you see Evernote?
I can't see. It looks kind of crazy, but I can see it.
No, the Evernote.
The Evernote, I cannot see your Evernote, no.
Okay, I'm going to fix this right now. And give me 1 second.
Okay, Elena's saying now she can see it. Can everybody else see it? If you could type yes in the chat box, that would be great.
All right. Okay, let me go back then. Because I stopped screen sharing. Okay, I took you into that. Okay.
Okay, so we can see you, but we can't see your screen. I think now we're seeing your screen.
Can you? Can you see now, Evernote?
We can't see Evernote, but we can see your screen. We see your Google Hangout.
All right, that's not good. All right, let me. All right, let me just see. What might be a problem here? 1 second. Okay, and I'm listening for what our viewers are typing in.
Okay, so we can see you, but we can't see when you open up Evernote.
All right. Let me try again. And how is everybody, how well are you familiar with Evernote? Are you using it now extensively? What do you use it for? Let me know, please, while I'm still.
Yeah, so you can just type your answers in the chat box, and that way we know that to cover everything that you're looking for today in the next few minutes. Okay, so Kim is brand new to it, and she's just wanting to learn how to use it. So Kim, you and I are in the same boat. Heidi is looking for team management, and Janet said she downloaded it once and then found my Mac seemed to crash when I tried using it. Oh, that's not good. Maybe that's what's going on now. And then Catherine said she tried to use it a while ago, but she doesn't use it at all right now. So I think a lot of us are in the same boat right now.
Okay, cool. So I'll make sure to throw a few tips on how to start organizing Evernote when you are just starting out with it. Okay.
Okay, and then Elena has a tip for us here. She says, Natasha, choose the screen you want to share from the list of all of your opened windows. By default, it's going to show your Hangout.
Yeah, I was doing exactly that, but for some reason Evernote was not one of those windows, and apparently when I go there, it's not showing. So I'm just going to close it and reopen it again and hope that it will be one of the windows that show when I try and share my screen.
Well, that's my trick whenever time I use new technology. If it doesn't work, shut it down and start it over. If only starting our cars or fixing our cars are that easy. Turn it off, walk around the car, and get back in. So we'll see. So I'm sure this will be great. But thank you, everyone, for your patience. Sometimes this stuff just happens. Yes, and Christina, you're right. I didn't think Evernote seemed that easy either. I thought it seemed actually pretty complicated. But then I met Natasha, and she says that it's not. So where is everybody from? Pittsburgh. Ooh, brr. Bet it's chilly up there. The UK. Michigan. Go Blue. Hopefully you're not a Spartan fan. Just kidding, Heidi. I went to U of M. Ontario, Canada, Kim. All right. I bet it's pretty chilly up there, too. You guys need to come visit us. I'm in Los Angeles. Let me type it in there. Hey. Boston. Yay, Christina, Los Angeles too. We should meet up sometime. Oh, the same issue with Windows. Okay, and you fix it with different browsers. Uruguay. All right, well, we have a very international and diverse crowd with us today. It's kind of like the Olympics of Evernote. And if you think back, I don't know if you all watched the Winter Olympics, but remember one of the rings didn't work? See, same issue. So no biggie. It happens in the Olympics and it happens here.
All right, well, it's so strange because it works on my end, but I don't see it as one of the windows when I try sharing my screen for some reason.
I love the clock in the background. It makes it sound so suspenseful.
Yeah, that's intentional. All right, so let me then continue with the tips, and I'm going to meddle a little bit more with it and see if it's going to work for me. But what I will do is I'm going to re-record it tomorrow with the screen. I'll record my screen as I'm presenting the same thing, so you will get the visuals too. Okay, let's then do without visuals today, but I will follow up for sure. So going back to, and let me, all right, Portia, okay, if you want to jump in, go ahead and jump in.
Okay,
Going
got
back
it.
to the inbox processing routine. As I mentioned, what I do, I would just open my inbox, I scan messages, and then I'm left with just the ones that look like the ones that I want to look through. So, and when I start going through each one of them, I make sure that I take action on them. So what would happen before is that I would open the email, read it, great, I can answer this person, I close it back, I would make a mental note of what I would tell them, but then my head would trick me that I answered that email already, and after 2 weeks, when that person follows up with me, I'm just like, but I thought that I replied. So that was happening way too often. So I knew that I had to create some kind of place for me to keep track of my emails that I have not responded to or needed some kind of action, so that they don't just sit in my inbox and I go through them and I go back and forth, or just sit there and make me guilty. So what I do now is that those messages that require just a couple of minutes of my time that I can just answer with one sentence or so, I answer them right away and I'm done with them. But if there are messages that require some more of my time, and those type of messages can be maybe request for a quote, or invitation to participate in a certain event, or there is this conversation that I'm having with either potential client or a friend that we're just discussing something. So if it needs my time, then I just send it into Evernote. And forwarding emails into Evernote is possible if you get your Evernote incoming email address, and the place where you get it basically is where your settings are located, and in different versions of Evernote it's in different places, but it looks like this combination of letters, something that resembles the email address that you registered with, and then there is combination of letters and numbers. So if you will need to look for something like that, and tomorrow I'm going to show you how exactly it looks. But that's the email that you can use in order to send emails from your inbox into your Evernote. And what you can also do when you do that is you can slightly amend the subject line. And if you put the @ and name of the notebook where you want these emails to go, then automatically this email, it will become a note and it will be added to that existing notebook. And you can label that notebook, for example, emails to respond or something, so that when the time comes for you to work on your to answer your emails, then you can easily locate them by going into that notebook and looking at what still needs to be responded to. Alternatively, you can also rely on tags to organize your notes, and tags, a note can have multiple tags. So for me personally, it's something that I use much heavier than notebooks. And what happens is that it's when you search for something, you can just search for that specific tag. And in Evernote, you can also save searches. So if you have a certain tag for emails that need to be responded to, all you need to go to do is go into your saved searches, open that search, and Evernote will pop up all the notes for you that still need your attention.
So Natasha, are you saying that you use tags as opposed to folders?
I use tags. I use mostly tags. Yes.
Okay. And then Elena has a question, great question. She says, do you suggest that we do this with email subscriptions as well?
You mean for like newsletters that come in?
Yeah, I'm guessing that if you're subscribed, if you're on someone's email list, you get their newsletters that come in, and would you suggest tagging them as well, or would you want to put them in a notebook?
It's really up to you. in my opinion, you have to stick to either notebooks or tags, because then it's clear for you what structure you are creating. And the reason I'm using tags is because first of all, you can have multiple tags on a node, which means that that node can exist in several places at once. The structure that you can create with notebooks is that there is a node that goes into a notebook, and notebooks can be collected into a stack. So it's just like those 3 levels that you can create with notebooks. But for sure, you will have notebooks for, especially whenever you collaborate with people, and it's something that we're going to chat in a bit. Talk about, I meant. And if you have notebooks, for example, for this presentation, I created this beautiful notebook that I shared portion with you. That was a collection of these individual notes to serve as slides of this presentation. So you can definitely have a combination. But when you have tags, for example, you can create that hierarchy very similar to foldering system, but it will be just the tag names that will and what I will do is I'm going to share a screenshot of my hierarchy of tags that I have, and it's very easy. It's first you just add individual tags, and then you go into the tags area and you either drag them one on top of the other, or put them all under the same kind of category of tags. So it's very easy then to move them around and create that hierarchy that you are looking for.
That's good to know, because is it true that you can only have a note in one notebook?
Correct.
That's where I was starting to get confused. Okay, but you're saying with tags, you can have a note and you can have maybe 5 or so different tags on it, and that way you can have it, I guess, organized in different ways, right?
Absolutely, yes, that is correct. And so,
yeah, Elena, great question. She says she feels buried underneath them sometimes, even though she wants to read them. I feel the same way sometimes. So I think this is a suggestion that I'm definitely going to use. So we have another question here from Janet, and she says, if you have sent an email to Evernote, will you be able to see it on your iPhone?
Yes, absolutely. When you open your Evernote account, you should be able to. Yeah.
Okay, and for that, you have to download the Evernote, right?
Yes, it gets to have Evernote app on your phone, but once your Evernote is synced and that email is turned into a note, you will absolutely see that. So you will see basically what happens is that the subject line of the email becomes the title of the note, and the body of the email is the body of the note. And all links will be live, for example, whenever those email addresses of the person who sent you an email, all those links will be live. So if you need to send it back and you don't need to go back to the original email, you can do it like that as well. Take that email from there.
So I have a question about that. When you reply from Evernote, does it show from your Evernote email address or from your original email address?
Usually I go back to my regular folder, to my Gmail account to do that, because you will not be able to answer an email directly from Evernote. But
Got it.
It's just for you to keep track and make sure that you can act on that email, and it's not going to be lost or buried under other emails.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. So let me see. So yeah, whenever you are forwarding emails, then if you add the @ sign, you can add the name of the notebook, and then that email will be forwarded into a specific notebook. Or you can add the hashtag and the name of the tag, and then that email, once it becomes a note, will be tagged with that specific tag, the one that you specified. What you can also do is put exclamation point and then date, and that will set a reminder. And that's something that's also very helpful if you have time sensitive messages or when you need to reply by. This way you'll have a reminder, and Evernote will remind you about that task. Plus, when you have a reminder, all the notes with reminders are pinned to the top of the rest of the notes in that notebook. So it serves like a shortcut. So you will be easily access them, and you will see them that they are kind of your priority items. So that's really situation with emails. I hope that now you will be able to rely on some of these suggestions to be able to get a better grip of your inbox, so that they are not really, your inbox doesn't serve as your to-do list, because this is what we're trying to avoid. Whenever you just go to your inbox to see what you need to work on next, you get easily distracted by other messages or something that you just remembered, and that's when you lose focus. So that's when you become very, very unproductive. So try and work on your responding to your emails at the time that you set aside for them. So basically run your business and reply to your emails on your own terms. And I totally get that there are situations when we have to respond right away and we have to drop everything that we were working on and deal with that email. Absolutely, I'm not saying not to do that, but try and see what boundaries also you can set for yourself, so that when people don't expect a response from you right away, if it's something that doesn't require that immediate attention from you. So
got it. So what do we have up next?
Yeah, absolutely. So next we have prioritizing tasks, and that's something that I wanted to discuss today, just because there are so many days that we feel that there is lots to do. We feel overwhelmed, and we know that there is this long list of things that we need to do, but at the same time we don't know where to start. And those are our least productive days, just because I know that I go and start checking my inbox, or I can go on Facebook, and then it just that's a place that you don't get out quickly out of. So in order to avoid that, what I do is that I rely on my Evernote task list. And actually, I have a weekly task list. Basically, the way I look at my week is that in the very beginning, I mean, it was, I revise it every 2-3 months, but I look at what needs to happen in my business over the course of the week. Basically, what are those core activities? So I need to reach out to people. I need to follow up with other people. I need to do my social media. I need to work do something for a specific project I'm working on. There is also client work. So all those larger items that need to happen during the week so that you can sustain your business, it's important to get them on that list. And if you need to just take a few days and track everything that happens during that week, do so. I know it's not a fun task to do, but it's something that will help you quite a bit when you know what needs to happen over the course of 5 days, say Monday to Friday, so that you don't feel behind. So
exactly, and that's a really good tip too for families, you know, because I know everybody on the webinar might not necessarily be a business owner, but for families, you can do the same thing for running your household, similar to running a business. So like Natasha said, you might want to list out all the tasks you have to do for that week. So whether it's laundry or meal planning, grocery shopping, ironing, whatever it is, you know, cleaning up your home, that type of thing. Make a list of everything that you do, and perhaps on the day that you do it, and this can be a way that you can integrate it into Evernote and kind of run your home like a very effective and efficient business.
Absolutely, that's a really, really great point, Portia, and it's something that when you look at it as a task list that you need to do over a week, you don't feel constrained by like, at least I feel that. I know that some people like working on specific things at a specific time, and if it's something household related or family related, there are times when, like, okay, like, the baby needs to be fed right now. It's not that you can play with it much, but most of the, say, core activities for a business can happen over over the course of the week, but not necessarily at that specific time. So I know that I need to do my outreach 3 times a week. I know that I need to post my just go on social media and interact. I do it also 3 times a week. I need to work, follow up with my clients and make sure that I deliver what I need for them once a week, but then it's a larger block of time. I know that a blog post needs to go out every week, so I need to set aside time to write a post for a couple of weeks ahead. So all these pieces, they have to happen, and I have them planned out for specific days of the week, but I know at the same time, if an emergency happens, that stuff can be moved around and it will not affect the outcome if by the end of the week I have everything checked off for my list. Anything you want to add, Portia, at this point?
No, except any way to make a task list easier is going to be fantastic to learn. So, especially because when you send out the visuals to this webinar tomorrow, so make sure you all are checking your inbox tomorrow to have all the notes for this. Correct, Natasha?
Absolutely, yes. Tomorrow, because I'm in Belgium, the benefit of that is that I can create it in the morning. So by the time most of you wake up, you'll have it in your inbox. And another thing that I wanted to add, something just add a bit to what you just mentioned, Portia. It's what's really, really important is to add to-dos as you think of them, because otherwise, okay, maybe you are in a situation where you cannot write something down immediately and you'll have to make a mental note. But a lot of times we get into this habit of, okay, I'll remember that. And that's something that can easily be forgotten, or it's something that's like we spend energy trying to remember. So it's better to find a way to put it on your task list. And what Evernote makes it so easy is that you can add information into Evernote in different formats and in different ways. So if you are on your phone and you have an Evernote app, you can add information on the go. Even if you are offline, once you get back online, information will be synced. So you'll have that note in your notebook. In your Evernote.
Awesome.
How
so
you
we
want
have a
to
question
add it.
here. Yeah, so we have a question here from Christina, and she says, you discussed doing tasks on certain days of the week or at certain times. Is there a way to sort of calendar your task?
Well, the way I manage it is that I have on that weekly task list items that need to happen, but they are not that don't have to happen at a specific time. The items that need to happen at a specific time, they're on my calendar, and those are client meetings or anything that I have to be somewhere, like any appointments. If it's something, say, family related.
So can you put? Can you put the task on your calendar, or if you want to schedule a certain task to be done, let's say you go grocery shopping every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Do you have to insert that as an appointment, or can you put a date and a time to a task?
You can, if you put it as an individual note, you can set a reminder for that note, and Evernote will remind you about that one. So it can be something that you just have at the top of the list of your notes with a reminder, and that will ensure that Evernote will notify you when the time comes to do that.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so going back to being able to add information into Evernote. So we talked about just creating individual notes, but you can also, if you're referencing information, and for example, when you work on something and you want to add a link to the draft that you were working on, you can always add that link to the Google or Dropbox document. And as I mentioned earlier, all links in Evernote are live. So making Evernote into this information hub where you can work in that environment without really going into your inbox or searching for information for a long time. This is what we're trying to achieve there. So when you need to reference something, make sure that you add that supporting documentation, whether adding as an attachment the document or giving a link to it. If you're collaborating with somebody, and I'll go into more detail about that in a bit, but you can use such a tool as Sketch, and it's also, once you download Evernote, you can download a Sketch as well, and what it allows you is to take screencasts, as a screen.
That's when you record the video,
capture your
correct?
screen. No. Sketch is for taking snapshots of your screen. And after that, you can make annotations. So if you, for example, working with somebody and you're giving them instructions of what changes you want to make to your sales page, you can take a screenshot of that page and just make a few comments, help yourself with arrows, and put it in a box. So all these different elements Sketch allows you to do, and this way when you give instructions, you don't really need to write out everything in this long way, but you just create that image and then make notes directly on that image. So that is very easy then to share that information and capture your ideas or things that need to happen. All right, and the last part about weekly task lists is that my recommendation, something that I do and something that for me works very well, is to do weekly tasks reviews, and I do them at the end of the week. Maybe for you it's best to do it in the beginning of the week. It's really up to you, but what I do during those weekly reviews is that I look at the week that just passed and at my task list. I note what's been accomplished. If there are any things that have not been accomplished, then I make a note of them as well, and I'll actively move them to the next week. Because what I avoid is that when stuff that did not happen the week before, just automatically a week, at some point it gets just too much. But if you actively look at, okay, this hasn't been accomplished, and it's important that it happens, so I move it to next week, or this is something that has been staying behind for several weeks. I need to look for somebody who can help me with this task. Or this is something that I never have time for and it doesn't look like it's very important. Let me put it on my someday maybe list, and that can be a note or a collection of notes, but it's something that you just take off your list. So look actively at your task list to make sure that the items that are there are important items and something that needs to happen. And if it's too much, if there are more important items that you can physically deal with, then look at outsourcing some of them, finding some support, and it doesn't have to be the full-time person. It can be somebody who works on individual projects with you, just to help you with certain aspects, and that will free up some of your time. And I know that delegation
so,
is...
Natasha, with the task, are you able to tag those as well, like you did the emails, or the tags or organize a different way?
Well, the task lists usually live in that single... The task list for a week lives in a single note. And there are core things that happen for the business, but I also identify some priorities. So if it's a project that I'm working on, then I'll make sure that those things get highlighted so that I know that whenever I have a certain period of time that I can spend on that task, that should be something that I work on first. So other things like maybe going on social media and socializing might not happen that day or even that week. But I look at what needs to happen first, what I need to give my time towards now for this project to get completed, or if, for example, I have a client commitment and that needs to be done, so that takes priority. But I look at my task list quite often just to make sure that I know what those priorities are and that I spend time on things that need to happen to move my business forward. So I don't get, and I know that it happens, and it happens to me too. It doesn't like it's never absolutely perfect. Life happens. So what I'm trying to say here is that you have to be intentional. So I know that it will not be at 100% how you planned it, maybe never. But if you're intentional about, okay, like today, like this single thing needs to happen, so make sure that you don't have that many things on your list, especially when it comes to these priorities. Like have 1, 2, 3 maximum. And I know that it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have these key items and there are just few of them, if you pace yourself, they will happen and you will see your business grow. If you just try to take on too much, you will get burned out very quickly, and then you will not be able to do anything until you get that rest. So sprints like that will not help. Try to see how you can pace yourself and look at those key things that need to happen first before the rest happens. And that's why we talked earlier about email and making sure that once you've processed your email, you go back to your priorities, and then you can come back to the emails that need your attention. But make sure that those key items happen so that the rest of your business doesn't suffer.
Got it. Okay, so we've talked about email management. We've talked about task lists. We're going to get this amazing visual guide tomorrow in your inbox. So Natasha, what's maybe one last thing you want to share before we wrap up the webinar today, since we got a little bit of a late start with technology, but I want to make sure that we end with something really powerful, not even more powerful already, because I've already got some really great tips on just how to be a little bit more organized.
Okay, cool. And that's for Heidi, dedicated. She wanted to hear about delegation, so let's talk about how you can collaborate with others using Evernote. First of all, let me know that Evernote the free version of Evernote allows you to share one notebook so that both parties can collaborate. So if you can just stick with that and that works, start with that and see how it is. But if at some point you feel that you need to be able to share more notebooks with people and for them to be able to make some edits to them, then you will need to upgrade, because for the free version you can share editable only one notebook. But that's the tool that allows you to collaborate, like sharing individual notes or entire notebooks. And again, we talked about turning Evernote into information hub. So whenever you work on something, make sure that you reference all supporting information that the person that you are giving this task to, it's all included in that note. And what makes it easy is that you can, say, attach documents or give links to documents, or you can even give links to individual notes. So you can have the entire list of things that need to happen for a specific project in this one single note. And some of the items can be for you, some of the items can be for them, but it's still good to outline the entire thing that needs to happen so that they see how they're contributing, where they'll feel more responsible if they'll see the entire picture. And what you can do is Evernote has this really great, interesting feature. There are checkboxes, so you can use checkboxes. So as you go through the list, check off what has been accomplished. You can also put initials of the person before that list, so that you know, and that person knows who is responsible for what as you go through the list. And also, what you can do, just like we talked earlier, to set a reminder. So if it's something, a reminder in Evernote is a similar thing as setting a due date. So if it's something that needs to happen by a certain date, then the person that you are sharing this note with will know that, okay, this needs to be done by this specific date. A relatively new feature in Evernote is work chat, and it's usually located in upper left corner, and whenever you are both online at the same time, you can use that as well, and that can be for conversations about something that you can just need to clarify or something like that. And again, all those conversations are saved in Evernote. You can go back to them in case you need to clarify what you agreed on, or look at your conversation again. So again, all stays in Evernote. You have information to all these different pieces of information, so you don't need to go further. And whenever you are collaborating with others, you are providing them with the same resources. So it's easy for them to know what they're responsible for, and you can also provide instructions so that they know what you're expecting from them. So in that note with tasks, what you can also provide them with is examples of what you're looking for. You can also make that into an audio note if you don't want to write it out, but want to make a short recording of something. You can provide any information that they will need as they work on the task, and specify by when it needs to happen and what needs to happen. So by providing all these individual pieces and making sure that you are showing them the entire picture as well, like the steps of the process, or something that they will be working on, how it affects the rest of the task, it will help them to be more responsible and get that task to you in the format that you were looking for. And I will give you example from my business practice. I have practically all major processes that happen. For example, guest post writing, my blog post writing and posting, social media structure, the step-by-step of when I get a new client, so client intake, client onboarding, depending what name you're familiar with, the way I work with the client when we have a package, so what needs to happen, and in one order. All those things I have written them out in a single note, so they are served as templates. And if there are any pieces that my assistant is responsible for, whenever I get a new client, for example, I take the template that outlines all the steps that need to happen when I get a new client. So that means sending them a proposal. Once the proposal is signed, sending them welcome packet. When that's done, make sure that the prepayment is made. So all these individual things that you might normally keep in your head, they have to be out of your head. They have to be in that template note that you would copy every time. Like in this case, you get a new client, but say if it's a guest posting template, and that's something that I'm going to share with you tomorrow. So whenever you guest post, make a copy of that template, label it with the name of the blog or publication where you are sending the pitch, and like you have all those steps there, and the parts that your assistant is responsible for, they know what's coming and how to organize their week, because this is something that's okay. If it's guest posting, the first few tasks will be mine, maybe creating the pitch itself, maybe drafting the first draft of the post, but she knows that what she will have to do is to do follow-up, or once the post runs, grab that link and post it on my site to make sure to get the logo and add it to the as seen in document. So she knows that if I have started the process of guest posting, there'll be stuff for her at a later stage. So it sets your assistant much better so that they can plan their workload, and they can also they will be available when you need them as well.
So we have a question from Janet here, and she says,
yeah.
Can you have different folders for different projects if you are sharing?
Well, my recommendation would be to have different notebooks, different notebook for each project, especially if you're sharing them with different people. So yes, just make sure that you have premium version of Evernote so that other people can edit those notebooks as well. And the trick that I do with projects, and again, I had this example, but it's not available at this moment, but I'm going to tell you anyway. For each project, I would end up with a collection of notes for sure, but what I do is I have one single note is kind of like synopsis of the entire thing. So if, say, it's a launch, I would have these different individual categories, like for example, it's just team members so that I have the names of the people, but then it can be, say I'm launching group programs, so there'll be content of the program, there'll be a promotional piece, there will be a technical piece, and what individual tasks go into each section. Next to each task, I would have initials of the person responsible for that task, and as the project goes along, I would give those, I would reference those materials that get created. For example, with content, say it's a series of modules, I would give link to each individual module, say if it's a single document. If it's a sales page, I would give the link to the sales page. If it's a, say, welcome message to the group participants, I would create that as a separate note, but then link, give the link to that note in that synopsis note. So I have this one huge single note for each project, which eventually becomes this one place where anybody that goes to, whether they've been working on the project for long or somebody who is just joining my team or just like maybe for one single task, they can still have there everything that they are looking for, because it's, they can see categories, and all these documents that have been created along the way are referenced there as well.
Got it. So Natasha, we're running out of time here. So what would be a good wrap up for today's session? We know we're going to get this awesome visual guide in our inboxes tomorrow. We've talked about, you know, how we can organize our email and send it straight to Evernote. We've gone over a couple different strategies for having task lists, as well as group management, you know, which could be for business if you're working on different projects, or if you have different things going on at home, because really, who doesn't have 1,000,001 things going on in their home? So maybe you can kind of just wrap up for us, and if you have any additional information, we can end the webinar on that note.
Okay, fabulous.
Or should I say on that Evernote?
Nice.
I'll keep my day job.
No, that's a good one. So what I wanted to finish with is that I hope that today, even though there were not many visuals, but you can see that Evernote is quite a versatile resource and a place that you can, a tool that you can turn into your business management hub. A few things that I mentioned is that you can, it goes really very much beyond just managing day-to-day and your tasks. You can manage entire business processes. So all those core activities that happen in your business day-to-day and even in your family, all of them can be managed through Evernote. And I reference, say, a guest posting or client intake and how that can be managed. But ultimately, when you have this clear step-by-step, then it's easy to know what comes next, what you might need help with, because maybe there is an emergency that you have to attend to, and what is the part that you'll have to bring another person for. You will feel much more grounded and in control when you have those core things recorded in Evernote. And it's what I also wanted to invite you to, if organizing your business is one of your immediate goals, is I'm opening the digital doors today into my signature program called Systematic Success. And it's a program that I launched last year for the very first time. But what I realized over time is that I really needed to show how all that theory that I was teaching the participants can be applied in real life. So this time around, all the materials will be delivered directly, in our case, into Evernote as individual notes, so that you can just take that task list and work through it and create your systems directly into Evernote. So everything will be tailored so that you can see how you can use Evernote and its different features to create your systems, again, directly in Evernote and immediately use it. And the 4 systems that I'll be going over in Systematic Success course are client intake, onboarding and managing, blogging, social media, and relationship building. But once you see how it's done, you will be able to apply the same methodology, the same tactics to any area of your business. So you will walk away with your business management hub, and bit by bit you will be able to organize the rest of your business. The bonus for the course is my guide Evernote for small business. So it goes much more in detail about how to organize other systems as well. So you will have that guide, you will have our amazing community to support you. And because this is the very first time I'm launching this course in Evernote, I'll be there all the time as well. And in our group, I mean, I'm answering questions and sending you individual responses with videos how you can do something in Evernote.
So, Natasha, Elena has a question. She wants to know when this program starts. So when is that?
The program starts February 3rd, in 2 weeks. There is actually a button right underneath the video holder if you're watching it online on systematicsuccess20.com. There is a button right underneath so that you can click there for more information. But the course starts on February 3rd and goes for 8 weeks. Basically, it will be 3 weeks theory, 1 week implementation week, plus coaching calls, plus bonus calls with people who will be pulling back the curtain on their systems. So there'll be lots of case studies, lots of live examples, and lots of guidance, and making sure that you walk away with systems that you wanted to create, something tailored just to your business and to your preferences.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Natasha, for this amazing webinar that we've had today, and I hope that you all got some value from that. And like I said before, make sure that you're checking your inbox tomorrow for the visuals for everything that goes with this webinar, as well as information on the program if you are interested in joining that to kind of create systems for your life, for your business, for your home, and everything that's involved. So thank you so much, Kim and Elena and Christina, Janet, all of you all for joining the call. You know, if you have any questions about the system or anything that we talked about today, just reply back to the email that you're going to get tomorrow, again, with the awesome visuals. And thanks so much for joining us, and we will talk to you later. But wait, one more thing I forgot to mention. Thank you again, Natasha, for taking the time to do this for us. And for those of you all who are members of the Working Motherhood, I just wanted to mention that we were recently announced as one of the top Best of the Net by Working Mother magazine. So thank you all for that accomplishment. We're very excited about that. And so keep a lookout for your email. You know, as we go along for more webinars to kind of give you the tools and tips that you need to be the best person that you can be. So Natasha, thank you again, and we will talk to all of you all later. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.